Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Axon started out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. Imagine having 100 years of tire and wheel knowledge in your back pocket the next time you sell a piece of ag equipment. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is also brought to you by Ag Direct. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. Markets. This isn't markets. This is ground.
Off and running.
Too many going on. Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This is Boots on the Ground, edition number 5. And this edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. Aaron, when you're out and about farming, see this right here? Farming. Do you prefer a hat?
Yes.
Would you like a free hat?
No.
Okay, hold on a second. When you're I'm gonna take these down now because you said free and you're farming and you're supposed to want something.
I know. Ag producers are typically not very big fans of free hats.
Never. I've never known one to be like, free hat, scoff at you, sir. How dare you?
Just boxes upon boxes of don't ever give those away. Ever. Those don't ever go to Goodwill. You have 17 Pioneer hats. I know, and they're all a little different.
Well, if you want a free one.
I do.
Go to marketing@axontire.com and they'll send you a free Alliance baseball cap.
Well, perfect.
Now, I don't know if it's a winter hat or if it's a summer
Greenback.
hat. I don't know for sure what it is, but nonetheless, if you want a free one, send an email to Moving Iron, or not Moving Iron Podcast. You could do that, though, if you want to. You could do that. But go to marketing@axontire.com, and they will send you a free Alliance baseball cap. So check that out if you're interested. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment for about 33 years across the United States here. Parker can help you out at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And lastly, no matter how you buy your ag equipment, whether it's from a dealer, an auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com. So this week, our Boots on the Ground segment, victim, I guess is the best way to put it.
Victim,
probably.
Perfect.
It's Kyle Schneider. Kyle is a good friend of mine. He is the, what is your official title there at Stouts?
Head peon. I don't know. It's a
yeah. I've got that.
Used equipment specialist, manager, whatever you want to call me. So
yeah, he's a used equipment guy. Let's put it that way.
Right on.
That's a good way.
Yeah. So Kyle, I've known Kyle for a long time. Aaron's known Kyle for a long time, and probably one of the sharpest guys out there when it started looking at what processes look like and what's going on out there and all those kind of things. So, Kyle, thanks for agreeing to be on the podcast here, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. All right, Kyle, so let's start off here. Let's kind of talk about your synopsis, what you see happening right now. Aaron, it's a crazy time. We got a million different things going on. We've got high equipment prices. We've got high commodity prices. We've got all these different things going on. Kyle, when you're seeing all this stuff happening, I'm sure you've got more equipment, used equipment you know what to do with on your lot, and you got sales guys that are just like, oh, stop with all the used equipment already. Is that pretty close to accurate with what's going on at your place?
Actually, I'd probably say it's the opposite.
Oh,
you got guys saying we don't have enough used equipment.
Yeah, we're
when I look at the numbers,
same way.
It's still too high for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'd love to be down to $10 million in inventory, which we all know that's never going to happen. So
yeah,
right.
The market is just like anybody else. It's just a crazy market out there right now with commodity prices the way they are. I doubt they're going to go down anytime soon. I saw some stuff from Rabobank the other day, talked about corn pricing per bushel, and I thought, holy crap, they were expecting prices going to stay where they're at, if not growing, if I remember correctly, for the year or so. So, guys made good money last year, and they're going to make good money this year. Whether it's the farmer, rancher, the dairyman, prices across the board are up. Demand is high. Inventory sucks.
Right.
It's just
it's tough.
what you do have is not what they want, and that's the way it is. Always is. You never have the right machine.
Yep.
The big thing that we're seeing now is just moisture. I mean, we were in a drought, and we did not have a very good winter. We've had guys that are, changing practices up. I shouldn't say practices. They're just changing their business model of what they're planning this year. We've got guys in Idaho who are decreasing the acreage of potatoes and putting more wheat and barley in, just because potatoes are such a huge water.
Right.
Don't even know how you want to call it, but
a sponge.
Exactly, sponge. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Here in Utah, we've got guys that didn't even plant corn this year for silage, just because, again, they don't have the water to really put it in. And so, across the area with commodities being so high, inventory high, demand high, record profits being made, it's just kind of the trifecta of, holy crap, how are we going to work through this thing?
Yeah.
And just trying to figure out how and what to do. I'm sure we'll come up with one way or the other, whether it's just running day by day. There's no way we can come up with a long-term idea and say, this is what we're going to do for 2022 and make it work till the end of the year. It's going to be more of a, week by week basis, trying to figure out what we can do, where we can get equipment, and who we can't steal from, basically, just to manage our own needs. So. Yep.
So you brought up a good point there. You're talking about dairy, and one of the things I want to talk about here is something that, in some places it's a curse word, but there's a special place in my heart for the chopper. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a far away, tucked off, niche corner someplace in my heart.
That special there. Place is on an RGN leaving the yard.
That's the truth.
Right there in the belly of that RGN. That's a special place in my heart.
That's the truth. But you brought up dairy, and dairy is a very much a driver of the self-propelled forage harvester market, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Class 3 milk is a direct correlation as to what you see happening in the chopper market. So two things drive the chopper market. One is the price for Class 3 milk, and also a drought someplace. If they get a corn crop going and all of a sudden there's a big drought that comes out, that's a big driver of choppers as well. But
you got feedlots have an impact on that too, to a point.
Well, yeah, to a point, but obviously they're gonna.
It's not 100% direct like milk, right?
But right now you're looking at Class 3 milk hovering. It's bouncing around between $23 and $25 a 100 gallon. You got some really good pricing right now when you start looking at Class 3 milk and what that looks like, and especially when you start looking at milk powder and start looking, then you really got a really good price there. So all those things kind of factor in. You see all these different things kind of moving around. We got a drought out in the western corn belt, so who knows what that's going to look like when corn season comes around, harvest season comes around, and all those things. But moving into the first phase of chopper season, you've got that pickup season. You got that haylage season coming in.
Yeah.
I guess as you look right now, Kyle, and you take a look at the grand spectrum of everything that we've got out there, what are you seeing right now in that chopper market, and what's that demand look like for you?
I am starting to see the pickup. It is that time of the season where guys are finally, coming out of the woodworks and saying, okay, I need to start looking at my chopper. What do you have? I want to trade in my old 6950 or 8600 or whatever they have. Demand is starting to show up. We've had a couple decent deals just go through recently.
Right.
Some multi-units go out, which has been really nice. Out here in our neck of the woods, the larger chopper is king. That 9900, that 8800. That wide mount, that unit is what we need and go through on a daily basis. It's getting, even with the milk prices coming up, we deal with a lot of owner operators out here. We don't have a lot of custom cutters.
Right.
I only think of a handful that we have in our territory, but the demand is there. The problem is just the pricing.
Right.
How much you can give on their trade, how much
Right.
you're going to sell on that new one. We're dealing with price increases across the board. Granted, technology is always evolving and becoming better, whether through, some sort of software or actual mechanical increase in production by designing something different. And it's just trying to get that guy in the right spot at the right time. We love using that new 12-row head out here for corn. Our haylage is kind of, we don't do a lot of haylage and stuff like that. We do a decent amount, I guess you could say. And guys are starting to come out and say, yeah, this is what I want, and go forward.
Right.
I think we might see a little bit more with haylage just because we're not seeing very much corn being planted right now this season.
Yeah.
Right.
But going back to it, we are seeing demand. We're seeing some things come out. We're seeing some guys start talking to us. We've got some of those guys coming with those 86 and those 8800 size John Deere choppers saying, hey, I want to jump up that 98 or 99. For us, it's probably, they're all coming out saying, I want that 9900 chopper. I want the biggest head. I want the new 659 pickup header.
Right.
And it's trying to figure out how to make those things work and open that I have machines here in time for what they want for the new owners. Luckily we did really well in the EOP last year, getting guys in then to order stuff and get it so they could get here in a timely manner. Just had a couple hit the ground just in the past 2 weeks, which seems kind of like, holy crap, manufacturer did something great for us, got it on time. Instead of keep pushing it back. But they're still going out there and they're still hitting it hard. There's still a lot of guys out there taking care of their own stuff. So the market in general it seems kind of average for what we're seeing. I haven't seen anything come to really say, oh, we're going to see an uptick. Haven't seen anything really come in yet to say we're going to see a downtick. It seems pretty average and flat for us. But I kind of want to see how guys really start reacting, like you were talking about, 23, 25 pounds or dollars, for milk right now. What's that going to do? How is the guys really going to think that maybe it's time to come in and upgrade my old chopper to get something new right now with those prices? Part of me thinks that, they might wait till after the season to see how things really go and see what milk does to say, hey, I've got this kind of money. Now let's move forward with the chopper. But then part of me is thinking, hey, they might be thinking, I got money now. Let's hurry and upgrade while times are good, and we know we've got the money in hand.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, man. I think that's across the entire spectrum, whether we're talking choppers or combines or tractors or whatever it is. I think we've hit that time in the year where a lot of guys are going to be like, you know what? I hear you. It's great. You don't have one now. You're going to have one later. And I'm just going to wait and see what happens with my crop this year because there's a lot of unknowns out there right now. Prices might be high. I got to believe a lot of guys have forward contracted some stuff so that they've got some profitability into 23 and what that looks like. But I got to believe that there's a lot of guys that are going to sit back and kind of wait and see what happens. Aaron, when you're out there right now, you're seeing stuff going on, talking to guys around the country. Have you had a lot of chopper talk with the folks that you're working with?
Not a lot. I spent a fair amount of time in the last month and a half working on trying to pre-sell some non-deer future trades type of deals.
Yeah.
I was going to say green and white. Well, they're both green and white. One's green and tan. The other one's green and white. But get to talking with guys kind of all over the country, and it's kind of a big, giant wait and see kind of thing in the chopper world, as I'm sure you're seeing out there, because we don't know yet. It's early enough in the year, granted, nothing is for sure. We don't know where anything is for sure. What's the drought going to do out here?
Yeah.
Is the drought going to go? Is it going to continue in eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and keep going east? Is is that it's already affected supposedly the prospective acre planning.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
So you're going to have less acres with that. Is there going to be what's out there in the western third of the Corn Belt burn up and become silage?
Right.
Every bit of it, because that's where all the feedlots are at too. So it's a natural hand in hand. There's just a lot of factors involved, but right now everything is really up in the air.
Yeah.
I expected maybe to get in on some of the the high plains pivots of feed, what I call it, guys that have pivot after pivot of rye and they get out there and chop it and all that. A lot of feedlots do that. I thought maybe we'd get in on some of that, and that business has been non-existent to less than non-existent. It's just quiet, other than packing tractors, of course.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Guys want four-wheel drives. Can't believe it.
It's weird.
No kidding.
It's weird.
So, I don't, right now, it's just kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But it is percolating. It's just ever so slightly starting to bubble.
It's like a Folgers commercial.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Part of me thinks like if I call it the dairy belt, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all the way up, towards Vermont and that area. If milk prices stay really good and if they can see a huge demand in those areas, guys are getting out there and they can blow through their choppers. We might have a chance to move some of those old units that might be sticking around here up in those areas, which in my opinion, if dairy belt takes off, it'd be phenomenal to see just the dairy market take off and do good for once. We've had some crappy years in the past.
We've had some.
Which I hope in turn just leads to everybody else, having a decent year on the choppers. The one thing that comes to my mind too is I heard today, we've had some guys turn down. I kind of worry, and I could be wrong at this, those guys that are chopping for haylage in terms of what hay prices are doing, that it might negatively transition because hay prices, I've heard of guys already turning down $370 a ton right now for good hay, even $360 for medium grade hay. If guys are thinking, hey, if I bale my hay rather than just chop it, what am I going to get there? Am I going to make some more money? You're still going to have those guys that are going to do that haylage no matter what. They've got to have that. That's where it's grown from.
Yep.
And so hopefully one doesn't negatively affect the other one so much, but it just works kind of as a whole and just benefits us and helps grow that market. I mean, the chopper market is already a tough market just in general. We don't have that many people that can afford nor, sit someone's butt down in that seat to actually go chop and make it worthwhile for them.
Right.
You're exactly right.
And so any increase we see is going to be beneficial across the board for us, because I'm hoping for that trickle down effect that if one area starts taking off, it's going to help everybody else. Because let's get to, a chopper, as much as I love those machines, I think they're phenomenal. They're awesome to be around. They can be a freaking money pit, and they're just hard to deal with.
Oh yeah.
They're just hard to move in general. And so I'm kind of looking at it in terms of watching some other markets to see what happens to really see if we can't see a turnaround. I'm actually even seeing some, market changes when it comes to exporting those things as well. I've seen some guys down, for instance, in Mexico wanting some of the newer models. They used to love those old 6,000 series. They moved to the 7s. Now I'm getting calls for 8,000s and even some 9,000s. I'm like, the crap is going on? I wasn't expecting this for at least 5 more years. But
right.
It's there, so it's like, hey, I got to maximize this as much as possible, because at this point, I don't care what color it is. If I can move it somewhere, I'm going to move it. Now there's some colors I won't even touch, just flat out. I've been burned too many times, and I'm sorry, Mr. Farmer, you bought the wrong machine. I'm gonna trade you in just so you can get the king of choppers right now. So
that's a.
And when it comes to choppers, my personal opinion is there's only 2 colors, so pretty much pretty much makes it a lot easier.
Like everybody, let's just kind of let that lay there. No one's going to jump on that grenade.
Not even a hint at any colors.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw this out there and walk away.
No one's jumping on that grenade here. Okay, so yeah,
Nobody move.
My ego's gonna blow up.
right on.
Oh, geez.
Nobody move. It's still ticking.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the chopper market is there's still good money to be made out there. There's still some availability. You know, I'm seeing custom guys still buying some stuff. They're staying busy, which is a good sign because if they can keep those machines moving,
Yeah.
the market really hasn't died 100% on us.
Right. Yep.
Well, that kind of goes back to that custom, like what you just talked about. You know, I mean, if you really take a look at what's going on with the dairy market, with the feedlot market, those and how those things all play into that silage and that feed side of everything. More and more custom makers are going to start popping up because guys are going to start stepping back and saying, like, is it really worth my operating capital to go out and buy one of these machines when I can have, you know, XYZ come in here and custom cut it for me. Now, I'm not going to get rid of my machine. I still might have an older machine that just in case they can't come, I can go knock out my 500 acres or 1,000 acres or whatever it is of silage that I'm going to do. But that being said, the majority of that stuff is starting to go more and more to the custom side.
Oh yeah, and it's been that way. There of anything on the farm, that's probably the number one thing that's gone more and more custom all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody used to have a 2-row, 3-row pole type. You know, 3-row was a big hammer of the pole type, and if you were super big hammer, you also had a dump wagon.
Right.
You know,
Dump wagon,
and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's if you don't have at least an 8. Why have a chopper? You know, there's people that think that way. But in our part of the world, you know, where we don't have, I would say most of our owner-operator choppers are more of a base spec unit, you know, 2-wheel drive, probably no KP, simple thing, 6950.
Yeah.
They'll keep that thing forever, just like you said, and
Yeah.
park it over there, and they'll open up the ends or something with it
Yeah.
a week before the chopper gets there and
Yeah.
go that route.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
the biggest
definitely.
problem in the chopper market that I always see, and I'd be interested to know if it's the same out there, you can sell new, you can sell that 1 or 2-year-old, and you can sell 10-year-old and older. That 3-year-old to 10-year-old
It's tough.
in the chopper world is
real
really
tough.
tough
Yeah.
because it's way too damn much for the 10-year-old guy,
Yeah.
and it's too many hours for the 1 to 2-year-old guy.
Well, that's what's getting traded in.
Yeah,
The guy
Right.
that's buying the 1 or 2-year-old machine
Right.
is buying that one. The guy that's buying the 10-year-old machine, he's got 200 acres he chops.
It's a big gap, just like what happened in combines. Didn't used to be there in combines, but what happened in combines in 12.
Yep. What are you seeing there,
Oh,
Kyle?
yeah. I'd say you're spot on with what we're seeing too, Aaron. You know, you've got that gap, that 3 to 5 year gap, or 3 to 10 gap. I mean, that is just a hard unit across the board to move. I mean, it could be a 79, 80, really good machine is taken care of. It might have gone through 2 previous owners that were on top of their maintenance and their reconditioning of it on a yearly basis. But yet, you know, to get rid of that thing, you're going to have to drop your shorts and just let it go for dirt cheap because
Right.
That's
no
the
one
market.
really want to take that
Yeah.
chance on it. The market's just not there. But
Yep.
and it seems like the guys that finally do take those ones end up keeping those machines for
10
Oh,
acres.
yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
But,
Which
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
makes me wonder if that's the 10-year-old buyer when we do sell one of those and it's an owner operator deal. If it's maybe the 10-year-old buyer's like, I'll stretch a little bit, or keep it forever anyway, and make it work kind of deal. You know, typically.
Yep.
yeah. And that's one of my big fears too, is if you think about the size of these machines that we're getting into and what is being requested and demanded, those owner operators that just need it for that, open up the end rows or open the field or whatever they're doing, you know, that's a big machine to have just for when, if,
Right.
or when, you know. And that becomes a headache trying to work through, is figuring out how you're going to find those buyers that can handle that bigger machine to go. It's not like you can have an old 6950 or 7000 series or whatnot, or an old 3-row pull type, just do a little bit here and there. It's going to get harder to move those.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to what you guys were saying earlier, we're seeing it too. I saw my first pull type here just the other day, and it was like seeing an old rusted relic that you've seen on your grandpa's farm for the past 50 years. I'm like,
Right, yeah.
holy crap, that still exists? I didn't know those were.
Right.
And a lot of guys are saying, you know what? There's no sense in pulling that stupid 3-row when I can have Jim Bob down the street come down and custom cut for me and be done.
Right.
And off I go.
Yeah.
Unless it's a guy who's only cutting 3 rows at a time and he's only cutting for his feeding needs at that time, he's going to maintain that 3-row. But other than that, it's just, you might as well go, re-landscape your yard and put that on a mound out front and call it antique.
Put it next to
That's
your pull
pretty much what
type
it's
combine,
leading
dude.
to at this point.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That'd work.
There you go, yeah.
That'd work. Okay. All right, Kyle. Man, it's good conversation, man. We could go on for days about this, but final thoughts as you look across here going in through the rest of 22, what are some of the things you're paying attention to, and what are some of the stuff that's on your radar as good or bad either way? What are you seeing out there right now?
Demand is still good across the board. Doesn't matter what it is. Demand's good, and that's a good sign for us. There's money to be spent, which is a phenomenal thing for a dealer. It's just trying to work through those inventory issues, just like any dealer is happening.
Right.
I think just trying to be inventive in how you work with your customers to get them inventory and to make deals happen at this point. I mean, we're trying to become and figuring out how ways to pull rabbit out of a hat and get guys taken care of. I heard a comment today that, ag dealers are really great at making sure the customers are taken care of. We know that when that corn needs to be harvested, you got to go out and harvest it, And the comparison was against like construction dealers, for instance. There's dirt. Well, that dirt will be there tomorrow to go dig,
Right.
Take your sweet time.
Yep.
Being on that on-demand dealer to get out there and take care of your customers right then and there, as long as we can continue doing that for our customer base in this market with, low inventory, we'll grow. We'll still do good, and I think that's the benefit of the ag industry as a whole is we understand what these guys are going through, and we know that time is money more so than anything else, and we just got to do what we can to help these guys be productive and produce what it needs to be. Because if we can't keep them up and running, the whole economy is screwed. We might as well just kiss it goodbye
Right.
at this point.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm not saying we're the ones that are running everything, but we're one peg in the wheel that makes it run and keep it running smoothly. So as long as we can be inventive, we can work with our customers and their understanding of the constraints that we're through, we're going to have a great year. We're going to keep working, just trying to find that crystal ball that says this is what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on the markets, what they're doing, and continually watch those because that's an indicator of what's going to happen, I think.
Right.
And just trying to do as much, ear to the ground and listening to the customers, seeing what they want and what they're hearing as well. Because there's times where I learn information more from the farmer down the road rather than my salesman out on the beat talking to guys. So I think just being positive, just trying to work through it and make the best of what we have, and things will go good for us.
Yep. Control what you can control, right?
Exactly.
Right on. All right, man. Aaron, folks want to reach out to you, get more information about what it is that you're doing. What's the best way to do that?
Pretty active on Twitter at Aaron Fintel, or call me, text me, 308-760-1193, or you can email me at aaron.fintel@MovingIronLLC.com.
Right on. And Kyle, what's the best way to get a hold of you, man?
Give me a call on my cell phone, 801-573-2850. Or you can shoot me an email at kschneider@stoteseq.com.
Right on. And I'm Casey Seymour. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn, and that is Moving Iron Podcast. Go to Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. Check that out. And you can check me out on the Moving Iron LLC website at MovingIronLLC.com, where you can find all the information about the Moving Iron Summit coming up in Nashville, Tennessee, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. Kyle, I think you've been to the very first one, and you've been to all of them, I think, haven't you?
I have, yes. I've been to every single one.
He's got a T-shirt for all of them, man. Look at that guy. Yeah. He's almost like a groupie of sorts. That's nice.
I'm right there with Aaron,
There you go. That's right.
Following Casey everywhere he goes.
What's the one big takeaway you come back away with when you go to that Moving Iron Summit, man?
The big takeaway, I think, is just what I can kind of expect for the next season.
Yeah.
The economists that you have come in, the speakers, we're talking at the market as a whole, and it kind of helps me figure out how I need to kind of judge, and watch the market. Because, when it comes down to it, that's what each one of us is doing. We're watching the market. We're trying to determine what's going to happen and how to handle those ups and down swings. So, just kind of get a mood for what everybody else in the country is seeing as well. And not only that, but, seeing people from across the country and networking and getting to expand my my network of those that I know that are top of the field that I can call out and help for answers and questions.
Right on. Is it worth your while to come to that?
It is. Yep. I plan on being there in Nashville again this year.
Right on, man. There you go. It's a new T-shirt. Look at that guy.
There you go.
There you go.
Right on.
Goofy number 6.
Right on. Well, Kyle, man, it's been great having you on the podcast, man. I love talking with you every chance I get to. So, man, take care of yourself, and we'll see you down the road, man.
Not a problem. Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Aaron.
You bet. Thanks, Kyle.
So with that, I'm Casey Seymour, Aaron Fennell, and Kyle Schneider. Let's go inspire, folks. Out. Axon Tire is going to have more tips, tricks, and client advice throughout the year and in September at the Moving Iron Summit in Nashville. If you're looking to sign up for the event, please head over to MovingIronLLC.com. We hope to see you there. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransitinc.com for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving